Hey, it's Emily. Can we have a heart-to-heart real quick? I just wanted to let you know that I see you. And gosh, I know that you've tried every diet and you're just over dieting in general, right? And maybe you've been a longtime listener of the show and have implemented some of the habit hacks I've shared here, but you just haven't been able to be consistent due to, well, life and overwhelm. It's not your fault your habits haven't been sticking for you. You just need to do them differently. You need a habit strategy catered towards you, a busy working mom who knows the value of taking care of her health. But you just need a simple system to create habits that don't feel overwhelming and give you back the energy you need and deserve. So it's time to take action, and this is it. You know, my years of being a fitness professional and training moms in particular, I saw a gap between knowing, that we need to work out, eat healthy, and talk nice to ourselves, and actually doing it. Our day-to-day life is just so unexpected due to the invisible load that we carry that it has just been impossible to make your healthy habits stick. That's where the Healthy Habits Accelerator pod course comes into play. I created my signature program with you in mind, ensuring you'll finish it. It's an audio course, and I know you'll be able to complete it on the go, in the car pickup line, or even taking a shower. In just 10 episodes that you can easily binge in just a day or two, you'll leave with a 21-day plan to build momentum in your habits and feel good in your favorite leggings too. And this is all without dieting. Now, this is higher level habit strategy where we dig deeper into my atomic habit hacking system for women to address diet culture mentality, emotional eating, time, and family challenges with food, chaos, disorganization, confidence, self-care, consistency, and sustainability in your workouts, and time and convenience habit hacks, and so much more. This is based off of research, client testimonials, and conversations with you all as far as your biggest healthy habit challenges that you have. We will cover it in the pod course. Plus, I just added 2 bonus trainings and 150 habit loops to help inspire you to create your own. And we even do bi-monthly group coaching calls when you need my eyes on your habit loops to help you continue taking action. Now, you'll leave with my habit hacking trifecta 21-day plan that is going to give you the confidence that you can make your habits stick and train for life and really just fall in love with the process of making your health an automatic habit that you don't even have to think about even more. And since I love my podcast listeners so much, and to celebrate you, I want to give you $20 off of the Healthy Habits Accelerator pod course. Just go to bit.ly/Healthy Habits pod course and just use the code podcast at checkout to get $20 off. It's linked in the show notes for you as well. I am so rooting for you, girlfriend. Okay, let's get into the show. Hey girl, do you wish you could make your healthy habits stick, but life keeps getting in the way? Are you tired of diet culture telling you to shrink yourself when you'd rather just find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and feel and look good in your favorite leggings? Then you're in the right place. Think of this as Atomic Habits for women. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, millennial mom, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. I'm here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about health and our habits. How do I know? Because I've gone from former chronic dieter to habit hacker through the power of the system that I'm now going to teach you so you can finally stop dieting and just train for life via your habits. Remember, it's not your fault your healthy habits haven't stuck. We just have to do them differently. Are you ready to habit hack your health? Then let's do this. You're listening to episode 242 of Habit Hack Your Health. Hey friend, welcome back to the show. I just want to send you a great big hug because I know life can feel, just pretty overwhelming, and you're overstimulated and overscheduled a lot of times. And sometimes you just get pushed to like a breaking point, right? Or maybe you just feel like, are you really living your best mom life? Like, are you really? Or do you feel like you're just in survival mode day to day? First, I want to tell you that is okay if you're feeling that way. We've always been there, and you might just be in a season of life where it feels extra chaotic, right? You know, I just shared in my weekly Sunday habit hacking newsletter this past week. It was my husband and I's 28th anniversary of him asking me to be his girlfriend. Like, we started dating when we were 15, y'all. We were babies, which is crazy because I can't be that old now, right? Being 42 is like seriously a trip sometimes. And having a son who is now 16 is crazy because my husband and I were his age when we were dating. But, you know, we've really grown up together and we're a team and we love being active together and modeling this for our boys. And when I think back to when we first started dating and when we got married in 2004, we had big hopes and dreams for our family. I did personally for motherhood and my career and just imagining what our future would look like. And those hopes and dreams did not include being anxious, stressed out, spread too thin, emotionally eating and not taking care of my health and just pouring from an empty cup into my family and into other important relationships and just always feeling like I always had to choose between work and my family, but feeling like I'm failing at both, right? Have you ever felt that way too? I know that's not what you want either, right? I know that's not what you've ever wanted when you envisioned where you're at now, like 20 years ago, right? However, when I look at clients and chat with you all, this is what I hear the most as millennial or zennial or whatever this age is we're called. We're in a season of life where like our body is changing. We're totally done dieting. Like we're over it, right? Our stressors from our kids are like even more emotional versus just like physically exhausting, right? And we've really like climbed to higher levels of our jobs, right? You've climbed that corporate ladder and that might mean it's more stressful. And oh my gosh, all we do is drive our kids are all over town in our spare time for social events and sports. At least that's what I'm doing a lot in my spare time. And maybe you're just not really loving your mom life and the pressures and all of the tabs open, all the pressure from work and family and trying to do it all and just being pulled in so many directions. And maybe you've just given up. Maybe you've settled into some habits that really aren't serving you. And I just want to let you know that I see you and that you're not alone. And this is totally normal. If you can do just one thing for yourself, just 1%, literally a 15-minute habit can make all of the difference, not just for you, but the ones you love. Now, if you do have some habit loops in your life that aren't serving you, your health, or your mindset, or if you need some guidance creating your own habit loops, go grab the Healthy Habits cheat sheet. I have 60 healthy habit ideas on there for you. Like they should literally take 15 minutes or less, or even like a minute, right? Something where you can just kind of build some habits that feel like you're taking care of yourself in regards to your health. And it shows you how to simply create a habit loop as well. You can grab that at bit.ly/healthy habits cheat sheet. It's also linked in the show notes for you. That's a simple way for you to start taking action, or at least just look at some ideas to help you start taking care of your health. Now, I want you to love your mom life. And part of that means it doesn't mean having to do it all and giving not your best to all aspects of life, right? It doesn't have to be all your kids or all your work. There is a personal balance for you, whatever that means for you. And today's guest is going to help us live and love our best mom life while still achieving our professional and health goals, right? It doesn't have to be either or. It can be both, right? You can succeed at work. You can succeed at motherhood. You can succeed at your health goals. And everyone wins when you do that. So today's guest is Nikki Oden. Nikki is the founder of Your Ideal Mom Life, host of the Love Your Mom Life podcast, and author of But Definitely Wear Mascara, hacks to help you love your mom life and yourself a little more. I love that title so much. I don't go many places without mascara or my Lashify lashes. If you're a blondie like me, you know. So Nikki is a lawyer and a mom mentor who helps working moms battle burnout by teaching them how to own their days and crush their goals without the mom guilt. I love that. After walking away from a lucrative career as a commercial litigator for a prestigious international law firm to become a stay-at-home mom, Nikki learned firsthand how easily a woman can completely lose herself in motherhood. Like, she gets us, y'all, okay? Eventually, through a lot of trial and improvement, she figured out how to harmonize what she works at as an ambitious woman who still wants to be a great mother and is passionate about teaching other working moms how to do the same. Her mission is to help those moms love their mom lives and themselves a little bit more. So Nikki is going to share some really tangible tips and habits that you can start implementing to love your mom life while still striving for your professional and health goals. I love this so much. So as always, make sure you stay until the end of our conversation. I'll share my 3 biggest takeaways for you in case you're driving or taking a shower and weren't able to take some notes, or if you got interrupted a couple times like I do sometimes when listening to podcasts. Okay, let's get into this conversation with Nikki. Okay, gang, thank you so much again for tuning in to Habit Hack Your Health. I am so excited to have Nikki Oden here today. We're going to be talking about how to love your mom life and still be able to reach your goals. It's such a pull in both directions, but we're going to help you find that balance today. So Nikki, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Same. Okay. Well, the first question I ask everyone is, what is your favorite habit hack you have going on right now? Can be personal, for work, for your kids, for your home, anything.
My favorite habit hack is waking up early. And I think that can sometimes cause a little bit of a groan or an eye roll from other moms when they hear about the lead domino that allows me to go after all of my goals. But it is that it's waking up early. And I think with any habit that you're trying to form, you've got to start small. So when I started to wake up a little bit earlier, I just started with 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes was enough for me to feel like I was more centered and focused and able to tackle everything that I was doing in my day. And now I wake up at 5:30 and I'm awake a good hour before my kids so that I can work on my biggest, hairiest, audacious goal. I can meditate and I can work out. And that sets the tone for my entire day. And it's become such a habit that even on vacation, we were in Disney World recently and we were there during the week. And on it was a Friday and I woke up, my body was like, it's time to go. And once it's a habit, I mean, you talk about this all the time. It's just, it doesn't even require any willpower.
That's true. That's true. And that hour, I'm sure, is just golden for you to be able to get things and you crave it. Yeah. When I started my own healthy habit journey, it started with getting up early. And I used to be the type of person where I was like, I don't want to get up early. I'm like a night person. And eventually I was like, I cannot not get up early before my kids now because I need to be patient and present for them. And I need that hour to myself. So I get that, but it takes time, just like any other habit.
It does.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Build up to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. So who are you and what is your story that really led to you doing what you do today?
I'm a lawyer and a mom mentor. I like to tell myself, I call myself. And I started off on this journey quite a few years ago when I was still practicing commercial litigation for a really large international law firm. And that is just a fancy, smart way of saying that I got paid a lot of money to go to court and argue about contracts all day. And although it was definitely something that gave me a lot of confidence and independence, and I felt kind of cool going to court in my pencil skirt and heels and talking to judges, it was a grind. And I eventually realized when I became pregnant with my first child that I did not want to do it forever. So I sat my husband down and I said, this doesn't arch over the horizon for me. This is not my forever career. Like I feel like I'm giving a pound of flesh every day when I go into this job. And he was like, all right, so quit and I will take care of us and you can stay home with the baby. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that it was like, that was on the table. So I felt really blessed to be in that position. I know a lot of women at my firm who would have been like killed to do that. And so I like jumped in. I'm very type A. I was like, I'm a great lawyer. How hard can it be to be a stay-at-home mom? I'll just jump right into that and be a great stay-at-home mom. And when I tell that story now, I always get a chuckle from the other moms in the room, because being a stay-at-home mom is the hardest thing I have ever done. It was hard in a way I just couldn't explain. And if you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. I just completely lost myself in motherhood. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know if I had showered that day. Had I brushed my teeth? When was the last time I did something that was just for me? And then right when I was starting to get the hang of it, my daughter was 9 months old. I found out I was pregnant with my son. And I was like, okay, I don't need to hear this, but nursing is not birth control. Just keep that in mind if you're in that stage of your life. And I joke about that now, but at the time I was really stressed, but I didn't want to be ungrateful because I knew so many women who are struggling with fertility. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have 202. I got this. And after a while, I realized I was really unhappy. I had nothing that was mine outside of being mommy and wife, and I missed that. I needed that part of me that existed before I had kids, the girl with goals and dreams, and the person who did things for herself and who wanted to make an impact on the world. And why did that have to go away just because I was raising humans? So I struggled with that a little bit because there were some feelings of guilt, and also not just for my kids, but towards my husband. I felt bad that he had put himself out there to work so hard so that I could be home with these kids. And I was like, I don't like it. So I sat him down again when my kids were, my daughter, I think, was 2.5. And I was like, I need something else. So I started a home-based business, and that's when I really learned how it feels to live in survival mode, because I felt guilty for working and I felt guilty for not working, but everything happened in the house. So I was like, what should I be doing right now? And eventually, after a lot of trial and improvement, I'll call it, a lot of falling on my face, a lot of mistakes, I kind of figured it out. I figured out how to have that part of me with the goals and the dreams and the girl who wants to make the impact on the world outside her family, and how to be the mom I want to be. And I developed some systems, some hacks, and I realized this could probably work for other moms. And so I created Your Ideal Mom Life. And that's where my blog and my podcast, Love Your Mom Life, came from. And I recently wrote a book called But Definitely Wear Mascara. And it's full of hacks to help you love your mom life and yourself a little more. And that's how I ended up here.
I love that. And I love the name of your book so
Thank
much.
you.
So much. So I feel like almost like everyone listening can really relate to that. I know I can, because same, I was climbing the corporate ladder. Like I loved my job and what I did and the success of it. But also when you become a mom, you have this just internal pull away from all that, when actually it's something you really maybe enjoy doing, maybe not that particular job at some point, but aspects of that job, having aspirations and goals and something for yourself where maybe you're passionate about it and it's just for you. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to be like, I'm going to give it all up for my kids. I'll just be a stay-at-home mom. And it's not just a stay-at-home mom, because like you said, it's so hard. It's so hard. And you think, oh, I was a lawyer, like big deal. And you're like, oh my gosh, these little kiddos, I can't like compete.
I'm going down.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I feel like, I'm so glad you were able to find something again for yourself, but it's really hard to do that because I think we feel a lot of guilt sometimes as moms about that, because we think it should just 100% be about our kids and we lose ourselves. And I feel like most moms have been on some type of journey where they gave up something for their kids, and then they're on a journey to find themselves again and go after their goals. Like I said, it could be a different type of job. It could be like a passion, or, for me, it was fitness. But I'm wondering how you can give our ladies some advice listening today about how can we still go after our goals we have for ourselves and balance everything as a mom and find that middle ground instead of feeling like you have to be one or the other. How can we have both?
It all starts with your mindset.
Mm.
I think we have to stop putting pressure on ourselves to technically be balanced because we won't ever be balanced. Nothing is going to be completely equal on the career professional side of the seesaw versus the family side. And that's why I call it a seesaw, because some days are going to be work heavy and goal heavy, and some days are going to be family heavy, and that's okay. The key there is making sure that you're giving attention to both in a way that feels fulfilling for you, not what other moms think you should be doing or what your boss thinks you should be doing, but what you really feel is your middle ground. So I think the first number one thing that we have to do is to realize that mom guilt is a choice. And when I say that, I know that our first thoughts aren't always really within our control. They're sort of knee jerk, they're instinctual. And on some level, guilt is a sign that you care. What I'm talking about is when we dwell in it, when we sit there and tell ourselves how much we stink as moms and how everyone else is doing it better than us. And look at how I messed this up again. And I forgot this again. That kind of stuff that we're saying to ourselves in our heads, that is not serving us. And it is a choice. We have to take responsibility for that second thought. Again, the first thought, I get it, right? You're like, oh, I can't believe I did that. But the longer we dwell on it, the more we're just hurting ourselves. Like, think about it. Is telling yourself how much you suck going to help your kids? Is it going to make you a better mom? Is it going to change what happened 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, a week ago? No, no. So we have to choose to speak to ourselves the way we would speak to someone we love. And that is going to involve a lot of grace, giving yourself a lot of grace, trying to figure it out, being willing to give yourself permission to try something new and see if it works and see how it works with your family and how they react to it. And just keep trying until you figure out where that sweet spot is for you, because there is a sweet spot for you.
You're exactly right. I love the analogy of a seesaw, right? It's going to be down or up or just kind of going back and forth, ebbs and flowing, like day to day, week by week, sometimes hour by hour.
Mm-hmm.
And mom guilt is so real, like you said, and it does show that you care. But I think we do tend to see ourselves as like a martyr. Like, I'm
Yes.
giving everything up for my kids. And what example does that set for them, right? Are you actually going to be the best mom for them and love your mom life when you feel like you've given up everything?
You've totally hit it on the head. It's the example you're setting for them. Do you want your kids to see you settle over and over again? Or do you want them to sometimes see you go after something, to set a goal for yourself, maybe a fitness goal, maybe like you want to run a marathon? Don't you want them to see you making that time for yourself to train, maybe to eat differently, to wake up earlier? You want them to know what it looks like to go after something big and hairy and audacious. And you want them to see what it looks like when you achieve it or when you fall short. Like, how do you handle the adversity? Because that's going to happen to them. They're not always going to make the cheerleading team. They're not going to be picked for soccer. There many times they're going to be rejected. They're going to try and they're not going to make it. And they're going to learn how to deal with that stuff from you. So why not model it for them? And I at this point, my kids are 10 and 11. They're 17 months apart. And they make comments like that about watching me go after stuff and how proud they are that, for example, I wrote a book, and they see me doing these things, like see me walking that walk. And we might not talk about it openly all the time, but I know they're absorbing it. And they have been with me when I have maybe not achieved something that I wanted to achieve. And they've seen how I talk to myself, how I handle it.
Yeah.
And they talk to themselves the same way.
Oh, totally. Like I always say, monkey see, monkey do. They are watching.
100%.
My boys are 15 and 12. And I tell them all the time, like, I fail all the time. They're teenagers, preteen age, where, they can dwell on things
Mm-hmm.
as well. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. Or, oh my gosh, this test was so hard. Or I did this, or I did that. And if they see me doing that, they're going to adopt that's an okay mindset to have. But also, they think it's pretty cool. Like I asked my boys a while ago, I was like, what do you tell your friends or your friends' parents when they're like, what do your mom and dad do? And they're like, oh, my husband works in like agricultural research. And they're like, dad does like agriculture stuff. And they're like, we always tell them like, Oh, my mom has a podcast and they think that's so cool. And
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, oh, yeah, it is really cool. I get to talk to amazing people like you. But for
Right.
them, they're like, that's so cool. Like, I could never do something like that. And to see like other parents be like, oh, wow, that's so neat. I think that makes them feel proud. And for them, hopefully, like you said, be able to go after their own goals someday too. I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Well, I love that you have three things all moms who are rocking it know that is true. What are those three things?
So the first one we just talked about, which is that mom guilt is a choice. And so we
Mm.
need to speak to ourselves the way we would speak to someone we love. So we have to think about it like if your kid made the mistake or if your kid didn't succeed, would you ever tell them that they're not good enough? Would you ever tell them they should stop trying? Would you ever say, don't even bother because you're just not going to make it? You would never, ever do that. But you do it to yourself. Do it to yourself all the time. You think that you're not going to be good enough to go after that promotion, or you're not going to finish the race. So why even start? Why even lace up my shoes? Right? We have to stop doing that. And that goes along with the mom guilt too. Stop telling yourself you're not a good mom. Stop telling yourself that you'll never get it right. Because if you keep telling yourself these things, you're eventually going to believe them and then you'll start acting in accordance with them. So that's number one. Number two is to set boundaries. And it can be really hard when we're trying to be collaborative and accommodating and do the things that we do as moms. We're very nurturing by nature. So we want to make sure that everyone's taken care of and we want to help. It doesn't always serve us though if we're saying yes to everything. We have to set some boundaries. And so that could be starting with saying no, like this is not my best yes. This is not something that is going to move my goals forward or put me in a better place, mindset wise or within my goals. But it might be something that somebody else would do a really good job at. And by saying no, I'm opening up that opportunity for her to step in and give her best yes. We have to remember that when we're saying no or yes to things, because time invested in one area is time away from another. So if I say yes to this, am I saying no to myself somewhere else? I have to think about those things. And also just boundaries in terms of like who we let into our mind space. Who are you listening to? Who is in your inner five, the five people you hang around the most? Sometimes we have to set boundaries around those parts of our lives. And when I say that, I'm not saying you like cut people out cold turkey and you stop talking to them, but become more intentional about who you vent to and who you let vent to you and who you ask for advice and what you're listening to. So those things are really, really important. And then the last thing is to just make sure that when you're talking to yourself the way you would talk to somebody you love, you're helping yourself follow through. So, I mean, it's easy to say, I'm going to wake up early. And it's easy to say, I'm going to finally set these boundaries and do all these things. But then when push comes to shove in the moment, we've all been there. We dismiss the reminder on our phones. We ignore the entry on our calendar, or we say yes when we shouldn't. So I like to just leave little notes for myself. Sometimes I have little things that pop up on my phone and I use words that would be really powerful for me. Like instead of saying something like go meditate, I'll say, remember why this matters and choose yourself right now to meditate, or something that's going to be harder to ignore. And I have found that those three things, and we can dive deep into all of them, but those three things have really helped me and other moms who I mentor to rock their mom life. Like if we can get those three things in place, we're in a much better position than we were when we started.
I love that so much. So mindset, boundaries, and follow through. And I love that. That's essentially like a habit hack, like a trigger you just did to like do the thing, doing little post-its for yourself. And I love
Right.
how you took it next level, because there's plenty of times where I put notifications on my calendar to pop up or on my phone or a post-it, and I'm just like, work out. And that's not, it's not motivating. And it's a big thing of what we talk about here. We have to have something in place to remind us, like, okay, here's how we follow through. Like, that's why we teach habit strategy from like the Atomic Habits for Women philosophy, and thinking about, okay, well, how do I need to do this differently? Whereas like if my husband had a note, he'd be like, okay, I'll just go work out. I'm like, go move your body so you're more patient for your kids. I will be like,
Exactly.
yes, okay, I will. And that's just how we think
Mm-hmm.
differently. So I think you need to put that in the forefront of your mind and think of some fun habit hacks like that, where it's really digging deep into, why do I need to follow through and do and actually do the dang thing? So I feel like great for myself, but also tying it into all the people you love. Since we are nurturing beings, it's going to make you more motivated to follow through.
That's right. Absolutely. And I think that we are the center of our household. I say that all the time. A mother is the center of her household. So when we're feeling joyful, peaceful, patient, fulfilled, that spills over into everything else we do. If we really want to be the best moms we can be, we've got to do those things for ourselves so that we are feeling joyful, peaceful, fulfilled. And then when it comes time to the annoying thing that might pop up that nobody can control, like yesterday, my daughter grabbed a box of Honey Nut Cheerios from the bottom, and the entire bag spilled out into the pantry everywhere. I mean, it was everywhere. When those moments pop up and you haven't been taking care of yourself, it is really easy to choose some not so nice language and to yell and to make somebody feel like terrible, like over Cheerios, right?
Right.
But it's because we're not doing those things for ourselves. And that's like, if we are the center of our household, when we're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and resentful, that also spills into everything we do. So we have to remember that.
Absolutely. It's like that saying, you're like, it's like, if mom ain't happy, nobody's happy. You know
So
what I
true.
mean? It's so true. And that's such a good note. Like, we are the center of our home. We hold on to the feelings of our kids. A lot of times we're constantly thinking
Mm-hmm.
of like all the appointments we need to make, or the dishes in the sink, or, oh, I got to make sure I get this gift for so and all this other things coming up. So it's really important to make sure you're taking care of yourself, following through with those three things that you mentioned, so you can be the best version of you as you were the center of the home. You know, like
Yeah.
I said, I love the name of your book. And ironically enough, like, I'm not wearing like any of my lashes today or a mascara, which is unknown for me. But this morning I took like a full shower and I was like, I'm just going to have like no matte makeup on today. You know, we don't do video here on this show. But what made you decide to write a book? Can you remind everyone the name of it and why you named it that? I loved it so much.
I named it, but definitely wear mascara. And if you're looking at the cover, it's an actual photo of me and my two children in front of me. They're screaming and yelling at each other, and I'm pulling my hair out. And it's like, but definitely wear mascara, because it's a way for you to prioritize yourself in a really small way. And that is really what the metaphor is
Love
there.
it.
It doesn't have to be mascara. Maybe it's you take 5 minutes in car line and you just breathe. But whatever it is, find those small ways, those hacks that help you to make yourself a priority every single day, because it makes a huge difference in how you view things, how you see obstacles, how you see challenges. And it allows you the space and the permission to also celebrate yourself. You should celebrate those small wins. And when you do maybe a 30-second plank instead of a 30-minute workout, because you still chose yourself in some small way.
I feel that in my soul because I'm like, all right, at least I was wearing mascara today. Like,
Right.
but I love that because, right, you're celebrating whatever capacity you had today. I think sometimes we talk about this all the time, how we as women have an all or nothing mentality when it comes to so many things. And sometimes we need
Yeah.
to celebrate doing something versus nothing and letting that compound over time and
Yes.
hanging on to what brings you joy. And even in the midst of all of the madness, that you were still able to do something for yourself is a huge win.
It is. And I love what you just said. It's true. We oftentimes have this all or nothing mentality, especially with goal setting. I see it all the time with my own family sometimes, like, well, I already ruined it at lunch by having the cake. So the day's over and I'm just going to eat whatever I want. Well, you could choose not to. You could choose at the next meal to eat something nutritious and makes your body feel good and celebrate that win. It's a win. Just because you weren't good the whole day doesn't mean the day is lost. And the same thing with working out. Like, I have days where I cannot work out the way I want to, but that doesn't mean I do nothing. I mean, try. I like, if you're listening to this, try to hold a plank for 3 minutes and not break it. You're going to be sweating profusely, and you're going to feel good that you chose yourself and prioritized yourself in that small way. So the book is just full of little hacks and different tricks, systems, processes that'll help you to love your mom life and yourself a little more. Because really, it's about, when we love ourselves, it's easier to love everything we're dealing with.
Amen to that. And that's so empowering. And I love what this whole book is about. We'll make sure to link it in the show notes so everyone could go grab a copy of it. But Nikki, thank you so much. I could chat for you forever. You're speaking all my love languages. But where can everyone connect with you and find out more?
Well, I'd love to connect on Instagram. You can follow me at Nikki Oden, or you can hop onto my website, youridealmomlife.com, or find me on Apple Podcasts. I'm also on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and it's called Love Your Mom Life.
Love it. Well, Nikki, thank you so much again for this conversation. It was so fun chatting with you.
Thanks for having me, Emily. It was awesome.
Nikki, thank you so much for this conversation. I hope all of you are able to take a big, collective, deep breath right now. Let's do it now. You don't have to feel like you're failing in every area of your life or sacrifice one area of your life, my friend. You do deserve to take care of yourself. You do deserve to succeed at your career and not sacrifice loving your mom life at the same time. So let's go through my 3 biggest takeaways from this conversation with Nikki Oden of the Love Your Mom Life podcast. Number 1, having a balanced mindset, and taking that takes the pressure off, right? Nothing will ever be perfectly balanced. You will never have like so many equal parts of the pie if you're trying to balance everything out, right? Some days will be work heavy. Some days will be family heavy. When I used to work for a nonprofit, one of our top level VPs always used to say, sometimes work needs to win. Sometimes your family needs to win. I remember thinking, like, gosh, my family should always win. But sometimes, like if I took a work trip and, my husband was handling everything at home, at first I felt a lot of mom guilt. I'm like, oh my gosh, work is winning. My family isn't winning. But y'all, that time away, like a hotel room by myself, I came back much more patient mom, if you know what I mean. So take the pressure off yourself. What balance looks like to you is going to be different to what it looks like to the next mom. So you can't compare. But mom guilt is really a choice, right? I could have chosen to feel guilty and just, oh, woe is me, or really just lean into that work opportunity, lean into the training. I was working out by myself or working out with coworkers every morning, which was always so fun. I used to love going on work trips. I still do as of right now. But you got to have that balanced mindset and take the pressure off. Mom guilt is a choice. The way you talk to yourself. If you say, I suck, then guess what? You're going to believe that like you're terrible at everything. But you would never talk to your kids the way you talk to yourself or even your best friend. So take the pressure off and find what that balanced mindset looks like for you. Next, I think this is really important. What kind of example are you setting for your kids? What kind of example are you setting for your kids? Are you going after your goals, or are you playing small and not taking care of yourself? You're not investing in yourself. You're not going after for that promotion at work because you're afraid of what that could mean for your family. Now, there has been times where I have looked into promotions when I used to work in the corporate America, and I was like, that's not going to align with my family, and it didn't feel good for me. And that was my balanced mindset choice, right? But let them see you go after your health goals. Let them see you go after your work goals. Be transparent with them, especially as they get older. My boys are teens and preteens, and I let them know, like, hey, I'm working really hard at this, or I failed at this, and show them how you get back up. They're going to fail in life too. And if they see you having a pity party and stomping your feet and never trying again, guess what? Monkey see, monkey do. They're going to do the same thing as well. Okay? You are setting the example for your kids, so let them see you chase after your goals and let them see you even fail and how you come back from that as well. Last year I auditioned to be a HotWorks virtual instructor, and I'm auditioning again this year, which I'm really nervous about, to tell you the truth, because I came back and I wasn't picked. I was in the final 15, and they only picked 7 instructors, which, looking back on this past year, it was God working for me in my favor that way, because I would have had to leave to film 2 times a year. I would have had to leave early during my family vacation, and I would have been gone during my son's 16th birthday. That was God looking out for me, because he knows mentally I would have been so like mom guilt ridden, and for sometimes that's okay. But I kind of see that as God's protection. But they saw me fail. They saw me upset. But they also see me working hard, getting stronger, and auditioning again. And, sometimes the comeback's better than the setback. So we'll see what happens this year. And then lastly, my last takeaway from this episode with Nikki Oden is you are the center of your household. You are the center of your household, and that spills into everything else that you do and everyone else under your roof. It is. That's probably why we have to do things differently, right? That's why we have that atomic habit hacking system for women that we teach inside of the course, is because we are doing all the things. We have all those tabs open for your kids' sports, doctor's appointments. Did I do the dishes? Oh my gosh, I got to fold the laundry. Did I send that email? I got to work on this big report. Oh, I got this big project due. Or did I email this? Did I reply to that? Did I do this? Oh, did I work out? Did I eat healthy? It's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. So, if you are the center of your household and you're coming from a big bundle ball of anxious stress, it's going to bleed out into your family and the ones you love. And a lot of times the way I teach is to first think of how this will benefit others, because we are very nurturing by nature. And then it turns into, once you're doing these small 1% habits over time, you're like, gosh, well, I'm feeling good. Then it turns into, I want to do this for me. But sometimes we have to start with our loved ones first to make it make sense for us. Now, I love the tips that Nikki had when you are creating habit loops. And one of the first steps of a habit loop, as you know, we've talked about the past couple of weeks, is a cue and going deep into it, right? If you're setting up some type of visual cue instead of on your Google Calendar, it's go meditate. It's go choose yourself right now. Go meditate to clear your mind before this big meeting so you're clear-headed and able to be quick on your feet with your actions and how you speak. Or go meditate for 5 minutes so you don't lose your you-know-what on your husband today. Go super deep in your cues and make it super small. Like her book with the mascara reference. I love that so much. It's such a simple way to prioritize yourself. I know I feel better when I put mascara on each day as a habit that I love to celebrate. And it's something super tiny like that we teach inside of the Healthy Habits Accelerator, my signature program, and something we work on with our one-on-one clients as well, is to get those small wins over time and just freaking celebrate yourself, girlfriend. That's the last part of the habit loop, right? Is a reward. And it could be as simple as be go me, look at what I'm doing, right? So I hope today you realize that you are not alone. And I want you to take action on changing your mindset, creating more boundaries, and following through on what you want to do to take care of yourself. And of course, habit hacking can help you do that, to actually take action, starting with these small 1% habits, which we do inside the Healthy Habits Accelerator program. It's linked for you in the show notes. It will be life-giving and life-changing for you, my friend. And just like I mentioned a couple of times, everyone will win. So if you want to connect with Nikki, I have everything Nikki Oden linked in the show notes. Go grab her book. Go listen to the podcast. If you love her podcast, make sure to give her 5 stars and a written review in iTunes. If you're loving this show, do the same as well. It helps more mamas find our show who need it. So I am so rooting for you, girlfriend. You deserve to love your best mom life, and I hope today you start taking action doing so. I'll see you later this week. Hey girl, real quick before you go, did you know I have a secret podcast where I talk all about why most habit strategies don't work for us women? Spoiler alert, it's not our fault. Visit bit.ly/atomic habits for women. It's linked in the show notes to access my secret podcast series and have your biggest aha moment about why and how women have to do habits differently. And if you love the podcast, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can find the show. Love and appreciate you, friend. We'll see you next time.